was your week?
Good. Yeah, I had a good week. Yeah.
All right. How are you feeling so far with the intro packet? Did that go all right?
Yeah, pretty good.
Right. Is it okay if we take a look through it together real quick?
Sure.
All right. So thank you for bringing in your work. That's fantastic. A lot of these activities are going to help me get to know you. So I'm very glad that you brought that in. Oh, you know what, Todd? I need to take a sample from this. Can I please have you write your first and last name on this page? And then every time you come in, I'm going to be taking a sample from each of your SRGs.
So he has to write his first and last name on everything.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Todd. That looks great. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to use this one as your sample. And then there was a lot of information in here, so we'll go through some of the details, but some of the things I wanted to point out, it looks like you were able to keep to the schedule in that you're caught up to day 4 like we talked about. Great job. Thank you as well. Some of the things I wanted to point out in your new SRGs, you're going to see a lot of these QR codes, especially in your biology class. There might be a couple in your history class. You're going to be able to scan those with your Chromebook now. You can scan them on your phone as well, as long as you're logged into your MRA email. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. So if that video is ever not working, just double check that you're on your Mojave River email if you're trying it on your phone. With your Chromebook, it'll be a little more straightforward because that's linked to your Mojave email. All right, I also wanted to point out in your upcoming SRG, there are some days where it's going to tell you, especially in your English class, that hey, you need to read a story maybe in your study sync. So this is your study sync book. So if we look here in the table of contents, on day 2, for example, it's telling you to read in your study sync right here. Your first story is going to be Nothing Puzzles God. So I'm going to mark that for you this first time. That way you know where to find your story on day 2. So anytime it says study sync, this is the book that you're going to go to. Do you have any questions so far?
Can I write in this?
You can, yes. In fact, the more you write in it, the better. Sometimes it'll say annotate in your directions, and that means that we want to see your notes and your thoughts, and if you have different colored highlighters, go nuts.
Okay.
All right.
Do I need to buy that for him?
You don't have to, no. It's not required, but if you ever do need any pencils, pens, or even some highlighters, I can make sure that we get that for you if that's going to help you to do the assignment. Oh, our pleasure. Okay, so speaking of that Chromebook, I want to show you how to log in, and we're going to assign a quick
question.
Yeah.
I have a question. So he did okay with the intro packet at home. We found a little space for him to work where he could just work quietly, and that was his space. It was a comfortable spot. We don't have a desk for him, but it's a comfortable spot for him. But now that he's getting his packets for the different content areas, subjects, do you recommend that he just works like one day in each one packet, or should he work in all packets every day? How does that work?
Yeah, my recommendation would be to work in each one each day. And we try to make it as easy as possible with the table of contents here. So if you look in, let me just grab your English one here. For example.
He would do like day one in this packet, and then like day one in that packet.
Just like we did in the intro packet. So it'll have the exact date and then the pages to do for that day. So that would definitely be my recommendation. Try to stick to that schedule. And that way too, if you run into any questions, I know that we've all exchanged phone numbers, so we can be communicating if you run into any problems, and I can help you to solve those before your meeting.
Okay.
All right, good question, thank you.
Got it?
Okay, all right. So Todd, this is gonna be your Chromebook, and I have taped your username and login right here so that you will never lose it. All right, now I know you guys are usually more tech savvy than us teachers. So when you turn it on, have you used a Chromebook before at your previous school?
Yeah.
I figured, yeah. Okay, perfect. So it's going to go to the login page, and it's really nice because it already has the @mojaveriver.net typed in for you. So you're just gonna type in your username. Perfect, and then this will be your password, just paying attention to the capitals, and then there's a period in there.
We really need to get him like a typing class or something.
Well, you know, we do have keyboarding in
Yeah.
high school. If that's
Yeah.
something you're interested in, we're going to go through your classes here in just a minute.
He's really good on his phone, but
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, he struggles a little bit with typing on it.
All right, looks like you're in, Todd. Very good. Okay. I want to make sure that you know where to access all your stuff. So this is your Clever icon. That is going to be the one you're going to want to use. Perfect. So we've got it bookmarked up there. And this is where you're going to access your online experiments for your biology class. There's a ton of different resources in here we're going to have your math class videos. Those will be linked to your Google. But everything is right here tied together. So if you ever need to log into any other program, your iReady later on, that also goes through Clever. So we will be using this a lot at our appointments, so make sure to bring your Chromebook every time, because each time there's something new that you get into, I want to make sure that we do that together to make sure that everything's syncing correctly.
And make sure it's charged.
Yeah, there's that.
I just know him, you know, I know him.
Yeah, I try to keep a charger, but it's always best practice is make sure it's charged. So if I could have your signatures for this Chromebook release, feel free to take your time to read through that.
Okay.
I want to make sure you know what you're signing for, but basically it's talking about making sure that the Chromebook's only used for school purposes, keeping it appropriate. Thank you so much. All right, Mr. Todd, I'm going to get your signature right there. You can do, if you have a signature, that's great. If you need to do printing, that's fine too.
Today's the 15th.
Beautiful.
8, right?
8:15.
Yeah. Dash 24.
Perfect. Just copy Mom's date there. Thank you so much, Todd. Okay, so here's your Chromebook, here's your charger. You can bring that with you to our appointments. The other things that I wanted to make sure I touch base with you on, were you able to log into Parent Square with the flyer from orientation?
Yeah, we did receive the emails. We've been getting those emails from you. Are they from you? Just
It'll be
anybody?
different people.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. The CA, the CWA sometimes. Our
Okay.
translator will send some things out.
Okay.
Good, because that's going to let you know all about different school events, what's coming up, days off, things like that.
Okay.
Our school calendar. And then I also wanted to make sure that you understood the sign in and sign out policies. So Todd, since you're a high schooler, I know Mom's given her permission for you to sign yourself in and out. But the important thing, we can't have you sign out until Mom or your ride, I know you added his sister on, is here to get you. So I know sometimes we'll have students walk over to Jack in the Box and wait for their ride. We can't do that because we're responsible for you here at school until you get into that car
Yeah,
safely.
please don't let him leave.
Yeah.
He cannot go down to the liquor store or Jack in the Box or anything like that.
Exactly.
Okay,
So
please.
just so we're all on the same page with that one, we want to keep you safe.
You sit right there, okay, when you're done with your appointment, and you wait right there until your sister tells you she's here or I tell you I'm here. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice. This is a good test for when you start driving yourself. I know you said you wanted to take that driver's ed class. All right.
I don't know about that yet, but we'll see.
Sounds good. And then we have 2 counselors here on site. So I wanted to make sure that you know that your assigned counselor is Mrs. Stevens, and I have her business card for you right here. So if you have questions about any of your classes, I know you're a sophomore right now, so you may not even be thinking about what's next after high school, but she'll be reaching out and I want you to know who she is. So she's gonna ask you kind of if you're thinking college or some sort of trade school. Do you have any thoughts right now?
Not really.
Not really? Okay. We'll just make sure to schedule you so that we keep your options open. But she'll have a lot of events that she's reaching out as well, college visits and things like that you'll be able to participate in.
Definitely
if you
needs
decide.
that, so.
Awesome. Okay, and then Todd, your textbooks. So, we already talked about your study sync. These are your SRGs, so you have one for each class. And then in your SRG, remember how we talked about that table of contents and we talked about how it would refer to a certain story in study sync? Same thing is true, for example, for your math SRG. You're in IM2 this year, so it might tell you you're going to be doing certain problems on certain pages. And so this one goes with your math. And then this one is for your US history class. And that one we already talked about how sometimes in the SRG you would see a QR code that you need to scan for the videos. Okay, So here's your SRG that goes with your US history book.
Okay, so I am not good at this whole Common Core math thing.
Mhm.
So what if he's really struggling? What's gonna happen? How can he get help or
Absolutely.
no?
I probably couldn't teach myself IM2 alone without any support either. So we got a lot of things built in. So a couple different things. First of all, in the SRG, there's an area that shows you how to log into Google Classroom, and our math teacher has recorded videos doing the lesson so that you can follow along in your own time. We talked about making your own schedule, so whenever your math time is, you can watch that. Also, in a little bit, we're going to be taking your iReady assessment, so we'll take a look at that, and then if it's determined that you need even more help, our math teacher will be reaching out to you to pull him into a small group. Could be for a couple of weeks, could be for longer, just to fill in any gaps that we might find. So that we're going to do our best to, if you need that, to schedule it near your appointment, or if you have more flexibility to do it on another day, that's an option as well. And also along with your iReady results, there's reading intervention groups that we could be using. So we'll take a look at that once you're done and see what other assistance you might need. And then Todd, I know we already talked at your initial orientation appointment about how you can sign up for tutoring at any time. So we have 2 tutors on site, and I'll just review with you there. So we have a flyer here that you can use, and you just scan the QR code and it brings up the tutor's schedule. So you just pick your appointment time and your day, and then it has you put in your name, and when you click book, it sends the tutor an email so that they know to expect Todd this day, this time, and here's what he needs help with.
Perfect. Yeah.
So you can book that yourself. I can book it for you. I mean, Mom could even book it for you, but
Yeah, that's
you're
awesome.
becoming an adult.
Thank
We'll
you
let
so
you do
much. Yeah.
it gladly.
Yeah, our neighbor told us about this school, and she said the tutors are really helpful. That's why we decided to come here.
Oh, I will have to let them know that you said so. That's great. All right, and then Todd, your last class is your biology class. So here's your SRG for that. And this is gonna be the one that we were talking about with your Clever login. Because sometimes it's gonna have you scan that QR code, and that's where your virtual experiment is gonna be, because I'm not gonna send you home with a bunch of biology chemicals and things like that. So those experiments would be virtual, and then once in a while you and I will have an experiment here in the center that we'll do together at our appointments too. All right, so when you come next week, I'm gonna see if you were able to log into this experiment, and that's one of the things I wanna do at our meeting, is make sure that you were able to access that and to see if you have any questions. You don't need to worry about filling in all of the blanks on the Chromebook for the experiments. Any information that I need, it'll ask you to write down on this next page. So you're golden there. Okay, and those are your classes. How are you feeling about your electives? I know you just mentioned keyboarding, that you might want to add that in, and I know right now you're taking sociology for your elective. Do we need to make any adjustments since school is just starting?
Well, no, I mean, he's A through G, so he should probably keep sociology.
Okay, okay.
Because your counselor said, or the principal said that it's for the, one of the requirements.
Okay, all right. But just let me know, because if we need to make any changes to those electives, we want to do it as early as possible in the semester, and then of course we can take a look.
We'll just
at
look
second
for like a
semester.
website where you could just like learn how to type or something.
All
You could do
right.
it that way.
Change your mind, let me know.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course. All right, so that is your logins, your classes, any other general information that you need about the center. Just know that we serve breakfast, we serve lunch here, and so you're always able to get food. If you need to take a lunch with you, that's
Do you
fine
guys
too.
charge for that?
Nope, it's all included,
Okay.
so all students can access food whenever
That's awesome.
they need to. Yeah.
Do I gotta bring these every week?
So I would say always bring anything that you've written in. So make sure you bring your SRG. Your biology book, for example, probably not as much because you do have a digital copy on your Chromebook that we can refer to. Your math book, if you're needing help in a math lesson, then bring it so that we can see which questions you're needing assistance with. And then kind of the same for your geography. If you're needing to respond to questions out of the book, bring it. But if you don't have any questions, then no need for you to bring this hard copy of the textbook. Any
Great.
other questions for me before we start your iReady assessment?
What do you think? How are you feeling?
Good.
Good? Okay.
All right. Well, let me tell you a little bit about this test. So it is untimed because we want to make sure that you do your very best work. And by best work, that doesn't mean that you're going to get every question correct. The test is adaptive, and what that means is it's going to try to figure out where Todd is at. So you'll get some questions right, you'll get some questions wrong, and it's going to try to pinpoint exactly where you're at in reading and in math and identify any skills that you might have missed along the way getting here to your high school journey.
Good.
Yeah. So it's really important that you just take your time and that it gets an accurate picture of you so that we know what you need help with.
Yeah, don't be like me. When we used to have to take those tests, I used to just always mark C, 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 C all the way down. So don't do that, okay? Don't do that.
All right. So we'll head over to the classroom now and we'll get that started. Do you have any questions about it, or do you have any questions about it? Get started.
No. I'll just text message you later to see like what kind of social activities you guys have to just offer him. Because he needs a little bit of that social aspect.
Yeah, absolutely. And our most up-to-date calendar activities are going to be on Parent Square. So I actually link my calendar to that Parent Square login. So anytime there's an activity update, you'll be able to see it on there too.
And if he's not doing his work or anything, you're going to be in contact with me, right?
I will, absolutely. That's why we've got that open text communication.
And this is okay, right? I mean, he's got his hoodies, you know. This is just him.
As long as you have your earbuds out so that I know you're paying attention to what we're saying, perfect. And then, you know, we have little kids in the building, so dress appropriately for 5-year-olds to be here, but as long as you're covered, there's no curse words or things like that, that's great.
Perfect.
You
Awesome.
be you.
All right. Thank you so much. We really
Thank
appreciate
you. And are you gonna hang out while he does the test? Or?
I'm gonna go to Walmart and then just shoot me a text when you're almost okay. Does he have his cell? No. Just text me when you're done. Just wait for me. Don't leave. Okay.
Exactly. All right. So
Thank
nice
you.
to see you
Nice
again.
seeing you again.
All right, Todd. Let's head over to the